We'll talk about the Formula One race next, the Japanese Grand Prix. Qualifying, I mean, just simple as it could be. Red Bull qualifies up front. If anybody's been keeping up with Formula One, Williams has had an absolute atrocious start to this year. I mean, they've wrecked in just about every race. They're out of cars. They don't have any more backup cars. They end up having to sit Logan Sargent out last week because they didn't have a backup car for him. So they moved Albon into Sargent's car because Albon wrecked in the last Grand Prix. And then we get into practice. I think it was FP1 of all practices. Logan Sargent ends up eating the wall, destroys his race car. They end up getting it repaired enough for him to run the Grand Prix, which is lucky. But lap one.
Hey everybody, this is Thomas from the Dega Boys channel, reminding you to hit the like button if you're enjoying what you're watching. If you want to see more great content like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon as well to be notified of any future videos coming out. Thanks for watching. Now back to the video.
Lap one. I don't know what Daniel Ricciardo was doing here. I don't get it, man. Daniel Ricciardo's washed. He's done. Tom is specifically, I did a little bit as well, but Tom specifically came here during the offseason and was saying, yep, this is Daniel Ricciardo's year to succeed. This is his tryout period to prove that he still has it, and he's going to end up being in that Red Bull seat by 2025 and replace Perez. And I was here for it. I thought it was going to happen. I've always been a pretty big Daniel Ricciardo fan, but it's blatantly obvious. He's getting outperformed on a weekly basis by Tsunoda. He can't even outperform the Sauber cars on most race weekends. It's over. It's over. Ricciardo's washed. Daniel's done. Lap one, I don't know what he was doing. He gave Albon no room on the outside. They end up making contact. Both of them go straight into the tire barrier. They're in turn two. Another Williams car destroyed. I don't think they're going to finish the season. I think it's over. Formula One doesn't want to increase the grid, so what they want to do is decrease the grid. So they're just getting it by natural selection here with the Williams team just absolutely destroying their car every week. So that's unfortunate. I don't know what they're going to do for China here, and not this weekend, but next weekend. I don't know where they're going to get another car from. Are they going to have to buy one from somebody else? Or are they going to trot out an old F2 car or something? One of their old show cars out of their shop? I don't know what's going to happen with Williams. It's unbelievable. They ain't going to have enough cars. And it's another guy, Albon. It's like we came on here and on the offseason and we're like, yeah, Albon's so underrated. We could see him maybe in a Mercedes car at the end of start of 2025. I mean, God, he maybe gets another chance at Red Bull and challenges Ricciardo for that Red Bull seat. And his season has been awful. I mean, Alpine's non-existent. It's crazy what's happening in Formula One right now. Really, the only things I want to talk about real quick is the multiple strategies in this race. I'll talk about that here in a second. First off, though, Verstappen wins another race. We said it was going to rebound. I mean, that was kind of an oddity. It was kind of a conspiracy moment if you paid attention to the podcast a couple weeks ago. He ends up winning again. Perez wins again, or finishes second, gets back on the podium. And then Sainz, P3 again, which I think he is probably your second or third best driver in Formula One right now, in my opinion. He rounds out your podium. Verstappen with the fast lap at the end of the race. I'll talk about the points here in a second. But this race, multiple strategy races. Leclerc, I believe he was on like a one-stop strategy. It nearly worked out for him, though. He did make a mistake, got up into the gravel, allowed like the McLaren to go by of Norris. Also, Sainz went by. That was pretty unfortunate for him. I don't think he was ever going to get a podium, even with that strategy. It was never going to work out anyway. So he does come home like P5, I believe, at the end of the race, which is still a good result. It would have been cool to see him on the podium, though. I think he would have needed it for that confidence. I think he would have needed it for Ferrari to contend here in this constructors. I don't know. It's interesting what's going on there with the strategies of Ferrari. During this race, I was like, oh, Ferrari, here they are. They're at it again. They're going to mess the strategy up. And somehow it all worked out. I don't know how. But my biggest takeaway with this race, and I guess my biggest takeaway with where Formula One is as a sport right now, is in this race, your only battles were for the podium between Leclerc, Norris, and Sainz. And that was the only other battle. The other battle is, and it's been this way all season long, the midfield battle's gone. Stop with this whole the midfield battle saves Formula One. It's not like that anymore. When Hamilton and Mercedes were on their big run, where were your battles from 7th to 13th? Every single race, that was the battle. Anyone that could finish 7th through 13th every week, that was who was going to get your points. I mean, it could change on a weekly basis. I mean, you could finish 11th to 13th one week. Next week, you're 7 through 9. I mean, that was the era of Formula One where we saw good midfield battles. Midfield battle's gone. It's dead. There is no midfield battle anymore. The midfield battle, or what it used to be, is now a backmarker battle. It's 12th through 16th every week. 12th through, or 13th through 17th every week. Somewhere in that range. Racing for no points, racing for nothing but pride. And and then when your only other battle is the podium, there is no battle in Formula One anymore. The separation disparity is terrible. And if Christian Horner had his way, we'd only have 4 teams on the grid anyway. It would be Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, and Red Bull Jr. Everybody else would, and I guess McLaren. I guess so we'd have 10 cars on the grid because Zach Brown would find a way to knee pad his way into that situation, or that good boy club, because that's what he always does. Yeah, it's just F1's dead with the battles. It's gone. Logan, one thing from quali, I guess you can point out. Charles said that this poor performance due to the non-sufficient warming tires, and he said going forward will work on that in his qualifying approach. Yeah. I think that's just a Ferrari issue. I mean, Ferrari is hit and miss in qualifying. They've been that way the last 2 years. Either they're going to do really good in qualifying and be contending right there on the front row with the Red Bulls, or they're going to qualify like they did this weekend behind the McLaren. You know, it's just Ferrari is hit and miss in qualifying. I think they are. Well, no, I don't even think anymore. They are the best second best team on the grid. I believe they got the 3rd, 4th, 2nd best driver, somewhere in that range. I think they're going to be all right. I mean, I think if it goes the way it did last year with the championship battle and how Perez just absolutely fell off a cliff after Monaco last year, I believe we'll see Ferrari win the Constructors' Championship this year. I don't think that's a reach at all. I think that's completely in play here. So it'll be interesting to see how that progresses. I'm starting to lean towards the fact that Tom brought this up last week in the podcast. I'm starting to lean towards Sainz is a better driver than Leclerc, and I really do believe that. And it's kind of sad that he's ran his course there with Ferrari. I don't think Lewis Hamilton's going to do much better, and I think Lewis Hamilton's only going to Ferrari because he got exposed at Mercedes. He's never had to race a car that wasn't the best on the grid, and the first time he does with Mercedes the last couple of years, he runs and cries and runs away like a little baby. So, yeah, it sucks for Sainz. I think Sainz paired up with Verstappen would be a good combo. I just don't think it'll ever happen for the reason in the fact that this happened and played out before. And to be honest, Verstappen isn't the type of guy that's going to want to work with a guy at his caliber. He loves having Perez as a teammate because he knows he's going to have no contention. So, well, I don't think that that's going to happen. Christian Horner will shut that down. But we'll have to wait and see. I think that's about it. I mean, the one more to go on to that Williams thing as well. They had a pretty big scare late in the race there when Logan Sargent went right off the track. That could have been a terrible moment for McLaren, for Williams, if they would have wrecked both cars in this race. I don't know how they're going to finish the season. I really don't. I think it's cashed. I don't know what they're going to do. I agree. Sainz is a better overall driver. Leclerc is a qualifying merchant and had mid-race pace. Yeah, well, I was impressed though with Leclerc this weekend with that strategy that they put him on. He did the best he possibly could with that strategy. So I'll give him credit for that. I still think Charles is a great driver. I think that he's getting exposed, especially this year. Sainz has really proven to be a better driver, and it's awesome. And I would love to see Carlos Sainz say peace out to the F1 series and go over to IndyCar. I would love to see him and Pelot, 2 Spanish drivers racing with Ganassi, or even if Sainz went to like Andretti, we have a Ganassi Andretti battle, or even Penske. Penske would open up a 4th car for him. I think that'd be awesome. I'd love to see a great Spanish championship battle between those two. I think it'd be awesome. But that's just the motorsports fan in me wanting to see something cool like that.